Okay, now 13.1, task 1, part B. So we're going to be learning some spreadsheet tools today, which is going to be using Excel on your computer. So now I've noticed I've switched to my computer. So we want to use a spreadsheet. We want to create a table like this one shown. So let's go ahead and let's go open Excel. So if you don't know if you have Excel, pretty sure all of your computers have it. The fastest way to find it is to come down here and go to either your Finder or your Launchpad. I like the Finder, and go over here to Applications. Now you're going to scroll down. If you have a bunch of tiles like this, that works. I find it faster to find stuff in list form. If you notice, you can click over here and get it as a list. And if you sort it by name, it's a nice alphabetical list. And we want what's called Microsoft Excel. So it's a little green icon right there. So we're going to go ahead and open Microsoft Excel, and we want a blank workbook. Great. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead and I'm going to close my window a little bit. Let's close out my applications. And we're going to put this data in. So in column A, I'm going to label the column as T. Caps lock is on. Okay, T. And then let's go ahead and let's center alignment. We want to have it be in the center. And now I'm going to type in 0, 1, 2. A neat trick in Excel is I don't need to type in. If I'm doing a pattern where I'm going up by 1 each time, I click on the 0, hold it down, and highlight the 1 and 2. And there's this little square box here, and I can just drag it down, and it'll autofill in the rest of it. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now over here, I'm going to label this section as V. Again, let's center that alignment. Let's center it. And these I have to type in because it's not going up by the same amount each time. So type in 250, 305, 350, 420, 515, and 610. So we're now so we have the data in. So we're now going to use Excel to help us analyze this data. So we want to, here, let me make it a little bigger to make it easier to see. So down here in the bottom, it just has this percentage. I'm just making it larger to see. I'm not actually changing the size of the font. It's still 12. I'm just making it appear bigger in my screen. Okay, so now this is exponential, which means it multiplies by the same amount each time. I want to figure what it multiplies by. So to do that, I'm going to figure out what this number is divided by this one to figure out what I'm multiplying by, to compare and try to come up with a decent equation here. So Excel can do that for me. I don't have to calculate it. So I'm going to hit the equal button. Equal tells Excel that I want it to do a calculation. I want it to take this box and divide it by this one. So B3 divided by B2, hit enter. There, it divided it. Okay, now I can have it repeat that for every single one of these by just clicking again this little box and dragging down. So what it did is it always took this box and divided it by the previous. And you can click on the box, and then up here in the this is what we call the input line. It tells me it's taking B7, which each location in an Excel sheet is located kind of like Battleship. This is the box B because it's in the B column, 7 because it's in the 7th row. So this is B7. So it's taking B7 and dividing it by B6. So we can tell here that it's multiplying by approximately the same amount each time. Okay, so we can see that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this little yellow button to drop it down here into my taskbar just to get out of the way. I can come click it back up later if I want it. So it says, what do you notice about the relationship between successive V values? So here is our V. Well, it multiplies, if we notice, it multiplies by a number around 1.2. This is slightly less than 1.2, it's 1.1. It multiplies by approximately 1.1 or 1.2 each time. Okay, so we can say it multiplies. Oh, I don't know why that jumped over so far. There. It multiplies by approximately 1.1 to 1.2 each time. Okay. So now if you're doing this in your notes, you would write that in, but it's a lot harder for me to write it on my calculator. So how do your findings in part B relate to your graph in part A? Explain. Well, since I'm multiplying each time, the graph we showed in part A showed that exponential growth. Okay, the graph showed exponential growth. The table from part B also shows growth, but can be more descriptive. Can almost tell what the B is. Again, remember our exponential function is f of x, and you can insert equations, and f of x equals a b to the x. Okay, so we can almost tell what the b in fx equals ab to the x is. Okay, the graph shows exponential growth. The table from part B also shows growth, but can be more descriptive because we can almost tell our b is about 1.1 or 1.2 each. So what is a function you can use to model the data? Okay, we can use, what happened? We can use, let's see, f of x, let's get my equation, equals. So the starting value at time 0 is 250. So I know my a is 250. 250 times, I don't know, 1.15. If we're just picking a number. So it's like around 1.1 or 1.2. So I just picked a number somewhere in the middle there. Now, we can use this to model the data. There might be better models that are better fits, and we're going to look at that in this next section. But those ones model it fairly well.